Okay, let's jump straight into our deep dive today. We're looking at source material focused on chapter 4 of Lamentations. This chapter, it paints an incredibly stark picture of Jerusalem right after its destruction.
It really does. The sources here give us this raw, very emotional account of just immense loss and suffering, and importantly, the author's view on why it all happened.
Right, so our goal here is to really get a feel for the world described in these sources and, what that perspective offers us today.
Exactly.
As you read this, the first thing that kind of hits you is this stark contrast, isn't it,
Yeah.
between the past glory and the present ruin. The source talks about things like gold having, well, lost its luster.
And secret gems just scattered in the streets. Things once precious, now worthless.
And it's not just stuff, is it? The source is really powerful about the people.
Oh, absolutely. It mentions the precious sons of Zion, saying they were once worth their weight in gold. But now they're seen as like common pots of clay. It's a total reversal of value described there.
Wow. And the source doesn't hold back on the physical suffering either.
Yeah.
It's quite graphic.
No, it really doesn't. You read about infants with their tongues stuck to the roofs of their mouths from thirst,
Yeah, and children begging for bread, but there's just none there.
and people who are used to, delicacies, the finer things, now they're described as destitute, lying on ash heaps.
It's hard to even imagine.
And then there's that truly horrific detail the source includes. It mentions compassionate women boiling their own children.
It's devastating because of the famine.
Exactly. The famine was so bad, the text actually makes this chilling point. Dying by the sword was better than starving like that.
Better than that slow agony.
Right. The source even compares it to Sodom's punishment, but notes that Sodom was, overthrown in a moment.
Mm.
That comparison really emphasizes the author's point about how drawn out and agonizing this destruction felt. A quick end would have been preferable, in that view.
That level of detail, it just underscores the absolute extremity of it all. So the source lays out this horror, but then it also tries to explain why.
It does. And according to this text, it wasn't just bad luck or purely an external enemy. The source points the finger inward. It directly blames the sins of her prophets and the iniquities of her priests.
So leadership failure, religious leadership specifically.
Yes, explicitly saying they shed within her the blood of the righteous. The source frames the disaster as a consequence of internal corruption and violence against innocents.
And the fallout wasn't just physical destruction, right?
Yeah.
The sources mentioned social ruin, too.
Totally. People being defiled with blood, others shouting unclean at them, banishing them, a complete social breakdown.
Wow.
And this is all framed in the author's view as divine consequence. The text talks about the Lord giving full vent to his wrath, pouring out his fierce anger, leading to them being scattered among the nations.
You also get this real sense of fail hope in the text, looking in vain for help from allies.
Yes, help that could not save us, as the source puts it. And then the capture of the Lord's anointed, probably the king, it shows the collapse of, well, everything they thought they could rely on external alliances, their own leadership.
But interestingly, the source doesn't just end in despair, does it? There's a final twist, kind of.
Right, that final contrast, it acknowledges Edom, their neighbor, sort of rejoicing over Jerusalem's fall.
But suggests their time is coming, too.
Exactly. The source says the cup will be passed to Edom as well. Judgment is coming for them. And then, crucially, it turns back to Zion. It promises her punishment will end. Her exile won't last forever.
So even amidst all this devastation, there's a seed of future hope.
A difficult one, but yes, woven right into this account of terrible suffering.
So thinking about this whole account, the loss, the internal failure being blamed for the ruin, that eventual contrast between fates, what does that tell us? How does really understanding this specific perspective maybe change how you look at historical accounts of destruction, or even how societies process trauma?
That's a great question to leave people with. This source raises big questions about consequence, how the author sees divine action playing out, and the possibility of an end to hardship, even profound hardship like this. The text ends predicting judgment for one group and an end to suffering for another. What does that suggest about the narrative arc the source wants you to see, about cycles of ruin and maybe, just maybe, restoration? It definitely gives you a lot to mull over.